Hey, once again we're here talking about leaks. We're gonna do something a little bit different this time, however. We could easily talk about all these leaks that were discussed before, but a big hot spicy leak recently dropped and we need to open it up and analyze the contents of it. My name is Keglanek and welcome back to the Game Globe where we talk about all the GTA 6 leaks. Number 10. The playable character. The game's protagonists are named Ricardo, Casey, and Rose. Each, of course, having their own personalities and stories. Ricardo is a smuggler and a drug peddler. It's business as usual, attacking rival smugglers, evading police, getting out of tricky setups. At some point during the first act, however, Ricardo kills a police captain and husband of the third protagonist, Rose. This prompts Ricardo to be outlawed from his organization with a price on his head, forcing him to go into hiding. You cannot play as Ricardo during this time. Now, Casey is a petty criminal based in Carcer City. Casey is the youngest protagonist in the GTA series in his early 20s. The second act takes place across Carcer City once again and Liberty State. Casey is a ferocious temper and it often gets him into trouble. Over the next act, however, you do work with multiple gangs and low-level criminals. Now, what's most interesting here is that Rose is a lieutenant for the police in this game. The first time I believe the GTA has ever had a police officer protagonist. Ricardo kills her husband and kidnaps her, and she develops a relationship with him. Okay. Rose is released and Ricardo and Casey start robbing bigger and bigger targets, no longer just to survive but also to thrive. Casey has dreams of becoming the king of Liberty City, and Ricardo has dreams of being the biggest cartel kingpin in the continent. But for their dreams to come true, they need money. Number 9. Taking place in the future. Although many speculate that the game will take place in the 1980s, it seems that at least part of the game is reportedly going to take place in 2023. It's crazy how futuristic that year sounds. Despite it only being a few years away, it may give an indication of when the game comes out, and 2023 might not be the future if that's the case. Number 8. The story. For Ricardo, up until this point in the game, the story has not been linear. Switching between different points in time, I'm unsure what time exactly the story up until here takes place. But from the point of view of Ricardo goes into hiding, it's going to be 2023. Casey, on the other hand, is frustrated that his inability to move up in the criminal hierarchy, mixed with some poor decisions and betrayals, he forms a rivalry with Yardy's gang, headed by Little Jacob, who, in this game, is referred to as Jacob Hughes. However, things go awry and many of Casey's friends are killed. The police intercept Casey and he is sent to federal prison. Rose, being the smartest of the trio, secretly helps Ricardo and Casey plan heists and evade the law, all while leading the force dedicated to finding them. Rose is the most wealthy of the trio, receiving a large regular salary in every in-game month, as well as living in a nice house in the outskirts of Vice City. You are now free to switch between all three characters for the remainder of the game. The three go about their ways, Rose catching bad guys, helping Ricardo and Casey while trying to hunt them down. It seems overall that the story of the game is Bonnie and Clyde mixed with some Stockholm Syndrome thing, I guess. This does not really sound like a good story. Rose's character seems like a terrible Harley Quinn and her motives don't really make a lot of sense. But don't worry, we're going to get into that. Number 7. A female protagonist. This game would be the first time a female protagonist would be in Grand Theft Auto. While I'm always happy to see more representation in video games, her story sounds absolutely awful from a writing perspective. It doesn't sound like she does much other than be controlled and bossed around a little bit by Ricardo and Casey. I don't really understand what her motive is to help them, while at the same time leading the task force to chase them. It's like the movie Departed, except there's no real motives for anything going on here. Overall, I really hope the story's not true because it does not sound like a good story. Number 6. The location. According to this leak, the map size, like other leaks, have been reported to be the size of Red Dead Redemption 2's maps and GTA 5's maps combined. In this map will apparently feature Vice City, Cottonmouth, Carcer City, Liberty State without the Alderney, and a lot of swamps. It's very important to mention the swamps. And country surrounding Vice City. Lastly, there's going to be unnamed South American wilderness and more city. I would think it's really cool to see more South American wilderness. It's not something we really see too often in video games. Number 5, the heist. Heists are different in the fact that you can come out of a heist completely rich or completely poor. You can still succeed in heists even if you don't get any money out of the heist. Now, these heists are reportedly failing only if Ricardo, Casey, or Rose die. Number 4, earning money. Maybe as a response to the stupid amount of money players can make from single player or online play, earning money is reportedly much more difficult in GTA 6. According to the story, Ricardo and Casey don't end the game with a lot of money, unlike the other games. Now, I'm not really sure how that plays into the story because I haven't played GTA 6 yet, but Number 3, the side quest. Speaking of making a stupid amount of money, the leak does not go into too much detail about side quests or side missions in GTA 6. There are some side activities listed like gambling, golf, tennis, bowling, strip clubs, cinemas, cars, weapons, clothing and property, customization overall. My favorite things in the world. There's even talks of, oh man, the hot coffee mini game fully being introduced. Number 2, combat. Melee combat is said to be similar to Red Dead Redemption 2, but the most complex and difficult of any ROCKSTAR title. Parkour elements are said to have been introduced as well. This is a really good step in the right direction. More likely than not, GTA 6 will have more realistic combat and allow a more variety of weapons to be used and add a little bit more, depth to the gameplay. Number 1, is it real? I think this leak is a really detailed fanfiction story. I think this concept would be really cool as a TV show or a movie, but as a video game, I have a hard time seeing players having fun with Rose's character. As its own game, Rose would make an awesome protagonist, but having this huge range of characters can do and go so far away from what GTA 6 is originally about is a little out there. Most people reacting to these leaks don't really believe it either. But that's just about it for this leak. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to the Game Globe for more GTA 6 leaks.